Yo, yo, yo. Hey guys. So, I wanted to talk about the real innovation behind MAXI and the MAXI staple products because I think a lot of hexagons they kind of think, oh, it's just a token, but I think it's a real big deal in the same way that Hex kind of made uh, trustless yield, the innovation behind trustless yield and the T-share rate and the T-share um, and how it calculates that so that earlier stakers get compounding interest. That whole innovation, um, kind of how no coiners and people outside of Hex they don't get that innovation. I feel like people don't really get the innovation behind the Maxi products either. So I wanted to really drill into what um, the big shift or the big kind of problem that they solved was and how elegant the solution is. It's like such a simple and elegant solution that it's easy to kind of dismiss as like, oh, okay, it's just another token. But actually, it solved a really complex problem in a really simple and short smart contract. If you look at the smart contract, so what's the issue with Hex? Not that Hex has you know something wrong with it. I'm not saying that, but the talking about somehow tokenizing hex stakes has been a conversation that's gone all the way back to Hex's inception, and Richard Hart himself has also numerous times on streams mentioned, like, hey, if someone wants to build a contract on top of Hex which tokenizes Hex stakes, then be my guest. So this is not a new concept. It's been spoken about a lot. And then the Maximus boys, they went ahead and built this thing. And as well as Alex from Hedron, he has his solution for tokenizing hex stakes. And so we have been seeing these solutions rolled out. And I wanted to talk about kind of what are the different ways that you can make hex stakes more flexible? Why would you want to do that? Well, you know, as you know, in hex, when you stake, you're locking up your hex for a period of time, sometimes a very long period of time. And when your hex is staked, it's actually burnt, and it's removed from supply completely. And then at the end of the stake, you mint your principal again and your rewards. And so with a native stake, you're kind of locked to that wallet, right? If there's a hack, you're kind of in a really bad spot because they could early end stake your stakes. You can't, if you get to your wallet quickly, you can't transfer your stakes out. So you're really locked to that seed phrase if you do a native stake. And you also can't, sell your stake halfway through, or you can't, pass on your like 50% of your hex stake to two of your children, for example, if they wanted to have it, or if you want to include it in your inheritance. So it becomes quite tricky. I think that's not a bug. I think it's a feature of the original hex contract, but for those that want a bit more flexibility, Richard also seems to be all for it. And what are the potential, like, what are the potential benefits? What are the things that we need? Sorry, for if we wanted to make this kind of a flexible solution. So we want to have gas savings because like that was kind of a core principle behind like the native staking not being an issue, but kind of being something that the Ethereum guys changed on us with the S-load function fees going up. So if we can somehow solve that with a contract on top of Hex, that would be cool. The transferability, as I mentioned, if we can send it from wallet to wallet in case of a hack or just for convenience. The fungibility, so that we can buy small fractions or percentages of Hex stake for whatever length we like. The security, so we'd want the contract to be as secure as possible. Ideally, we would want it to be immutable and have no admin keys whatsoever, just like Hex. And so, what are your options? Well, um, going from the, you know, least ideal, I guess. So transferring native stakes. So you could sell your seed phrase to someone, or you could tell your seed phrase to someone and then forget that seed phrase. People have spoken about that as a kind of OTC deal. Obviously, that's not ideal because it requires a level of trust. And then also you have to sell the whole stake. It's the amount that you started, it's the length that you started, there's no gas fee savings. So if we can improve on that, it would be good. Centralized exchange for HEX. So if there was some kind of a centralized entity type person like the Coast guys or, you know, whoever else, and if you could start kind of IOU stakes on their platform where you get a coupon for the stake and they, I don't know, they're starting, I don't know how it would work, but if you just do a bit of a thought experiment for how you could do some kind of a centralized HEX staking platform, you know, the platform might be doing long 555 stakes every now and then selling you at a rate, including their fees, selling you those whatever length stake and whatever size stake you wanted at a certain price based on the price of HEX today, T-share rate today, etc. So obviously that's not ideal either because that goes against our whole ethos, but that is, you know, that would be an option, and it would probably save on the fees, it would probably make them fungible because everyone's trading IOUs on underlying HEX stakes. Then you have kind of one other option I didn't include here, which Tipcatcher actually spoke about, is the kind of DAO system. Originally, Maximus DAO, or Maximus was going to be based on this DAO protocol, which required some level of trust. And he also said it was quite complicated. He couldn't really understand some parts of it. But yeah, there would be voting on, I don't know on what, but like on how much HEX was staked, for how long, who ends the stake, etc. So not ideal. Then there's the NFT standardized Ethereum token, ERC721. That solves a lot of problems, and Alex's Hedron HSIs have solved quite a lot of the problems in terms of the transferability. The security is there, it's immutable, no admin keys. There are no gas savings and it's not fungible, which I'll go into. So that also, it's not ideal in my opinion. It kind of relies on an auction system or kind of OTC deals for whatever the length and size of the stake is. And then you kind of have the ERC20 format, which I can go into. But yeah, the NFT format, so I have some slides here actually. Again, not ideal because not fungible, it's in the name. You can't split a 5555 hex stake in half. It's what it is what you get, right? What you see is what you get. It is a max length stake for 100 hex, very small stake, for example, and you can either buy it or not, right? On OpenSea or in the auctions, and there are no gas savings when the stake ends. So what I think the big innovation with MAXI is that it uses the ERC20 token format, and yeah, I think it's the most elegant solution because it means that the tokens are now fungible, which means that people can provide liquidity for each of the tokens and people can buy and sell them on dexes. It's a very flexible format because now, you know, people can build on top of them. You know, you can provide liquidity on different protocols like the balancer, fork, PHUX, where people can pool all these tokens together and provide kind of interesting kinds of liquidity for them. Who knows what else we'll see, but there are a lot of flexible options where they can be used in other protocols, loans, whatever. Standardized high security token format, so it inherits the kind of security of the Ethereum blockchain and any updates going forward. the interoperability with other stuff on ETH/Pulse. So yeah, like you can just use it with other stuff, kind of similar to the flexibility piece. And then the community support. So there is just like a lot of people using this format and a lot of documentation on it. It's kind of, yeah, if you're building your own script or your own system to handle this, tradable hex stake kind of piece, you risk being hacked. You risk kind of, a bug, all that kind of stuff. With this system, it's like there's documentation, there's best practices, etc. So just kind of going into kind of the two ways to acquire these ERC20 tokens. So there was kind of a birth period where there was a mint 1 hex for one of these tokens, and we had that phase pass now for all of the Maximus products. And so there's a supply of around like 270 million for MAXI. So around that number of hex was staked. But now if you want to buy any of these products, you can do so freely on a DEX, because there are people providing liquidity for them. You just need to have dollars and you can buy MAXI, right, on the open market. The cool thing is what the ERC20, and this is the real innovation, right? What it lets you do, because they've gone with this pooled solution where everyone pulls their hex into one big stake, and it has spat out this ERC20 token to represent 1 hex. You can now customize your risk tolerance, you can customize your portfolio however you like. And so I have kind of 3 different kind of people here. So the guy on the left, you can see that his risk tolerance is much higher. He's a longer term staker. He has MAXI, a larger bag of MAXI, maybe another wallet and another DCA that he did. He now has a smaller bag of MAXI and another wallet, and then he also has DESI. So you can see how over time you can do smaller buys. You could do $1,000 buy on MAXI in 1 month, and then the next month do another $1,000 buy. And so you're kind of adding to your long-term position here. And then this guy, he's a bit more mid-term, and he has, again, he's done 2 buys on Lucky, and then he has a bag of Trio. And then the final guy, he's really mixed it up. He has a big bag of liquid hex. He has a larger bag of base, which is the 1 year perpetual. And then he has a smaller max length stake bag of MAXI. So you can really mix it up and have whatever size, length, stake portfolio that you like. And with Pool Party, which is their new platform that they're bringing out, we're really gonna see the fireworks take off, because you'll be able to mix and match and start different length stakes with different products inside. And so I think at the core of what makes MAXI so special is really just the fact that they were able to use the ERC20 token format to represent hex stakes so elegantly. So hope this video was helpful, and speak soon. Bye bye.